Hey guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. This is Living in Colorado Springs and I am Alicia Armendariz. Today's video is going to be more of an updated version of one that I've done before, and it's going to be over reasons why maybe you shouldn't live in Colorado Springs. Now the one before kind of just touched on typical internet information, I'm going to call it. The weather, we have military bases, we're conservative. This is going to be more of what I've actually heard from you guys who I've helped move here. You've relocated here, you've been living here in Colorado Springs now, and maybe you love it, maybe you don't, and these are the reasons why. So if you guys have any questions over anything that I mentioned today, please feel free to reach out to me. I am a licensed broker here in the state of Colorado, and I would love to help you with your real estate needs. And if you could, hit that subscribe button and bell to get notified when I make new videos each week on everything that is living in Colorado Springs. So as I mentioned, I had made a older version of this video when I first started this channel. It's about 1.5 years old. So if you do come across it, it's still valid information as to reasons why someone wouldn't maybe like living in Colorado Springs or Colorado for that fact. I'm gonna tag it below. You can go check out that one. But to me, that one is just a little bit more typical internet information. If you Google enough stuff, you're gonna kind of come up with the same things that I talk about in that video, but I'm still gonna list it below. This video is gonna talk about, like I said, what have some of my past clients that have relocated here found that they don't like about living here? And I'm gonna say off the bat, which kind of surprises me, is they feel like Colorado Springs is underdeveloped. I guess, yes, in my opinion, but I kind of like it that way. I think the appeal that a lot of you find when you're doing your home search or just checking out Colorado as an option to move here is that you like that Colorado Springs is just less populated. It's definitely less populated than Denver and those surrounding areas. It's on average about 500,000 people less than Denver and those surrounding areas. But with that being said, we didn't get this huge influx until right around when COVID hit. I mean, we've been having a lot of steady growth. We have a lot of companies that bring their businesses here and, you know, bring employees here. We have a lot of military, obviously, so we have just a lot of turnover. But just a big overall influx in people relocating to Colorado has really only happened in the last like 3 to 5 years. And I think the city and the infrastructure and just things of that sort are finally starting to catch up with that growth. You know, things may be going through plans or permits are given, but for actually more homes to be built, roads to be widened, things of that sort, like that takes time. And it does take a while for certain businesses, whether that be kind of restaurants or just other businesses in general, to get here. That takes time too. And so the biggest thing that I've heard from a lot of my clients that have relocated here is that they feel just for the size that Colorado Springs is, it's still really underdeveloped. We don't have that many shopping centers. We don't kind of have like that many outings or the restaurants, or just kind of it's underdeveloped. They feel that they have to wait in line at a grocery store often, more than they would back home in a bigger city. You know, waiting in line at our DMV or just anything, kind of your day-to-day things. They feel like there's just not a lot of options to choose from, so there's just a lot of waiting. But for the most part, Colorado has always been a slower pace place to be, which kind of goes into reason number 2 that I find a lot of people don't like, not only just Colorado Springs, but Colorado as a whole. Our pace of life is much slower. It's much more chill. And this actually flows into a lot of other aspects that I'm going to talk about. But from a business aspect, if you are someone who does a lot of business and you commute back and forth, or you're like I'm going to give an example, a New Yorker. I've had New Yorker friends. They get really frustrated with like how slow pace things are here business-wise, returning of emails, phone calls, setting up meetings. We just kind of have a much more chill pace of getting to things. Things do get done. Like I said, permits get put out, roads get widened, homes get built, things of that sort. But any industry, no matter what you're in, I've just found that people from the East Coast or even the West Coast, but definitely the East Coast, man, they just have a really hard time getting adjusted to the slower pace that happens within business here within the state. And because things are so kind of chill and relaxed here, I feel like that's a big reason why people do gravitate towards the state. But at the same time, as I mentioned, it does overflow into just a lot of other aspects, kind of in your wardrobe and things to do. Colorado Springs, for the most part, doesn't really have a nightlife. We don't have a lot of things to do, honestly. You'll hear people say, oh, like, if you don't like the outdoors, don't move to Colorado Springs. Believe it, because that's kind of the only thing there is to do in Colorado Springs, is be outdoors. Be hiking, be biking, be walking your dog, be hiking, be biking. I mean, there really is not a lot to do. Now, since I grew up with that, I love that. That's just what I like to do. I've lived in other places. I've lived in Vegas, Puerto Rico, Phoenix, and it's too hot, or it just, there's nowhere, there's no trails, there's nowhere for me to walk. So for me, I didn't live in those places long because I like being outside. And if it's too hot, I'm not gonna be outside. And if there aren't trails and walkways and things of that sort, like, that's just not my lifestyle. There really is not much to do here in Colorado Springs. We have a few nightclubs. They're okay. They're not like anything you'd experience in LA, Miami, Houston, things of that sort. They're okay. And we have a couple of bars. We actually have a lot of little sports bars, but they're sports bars that are very chill. And people really don't dress up. Even if there's a special occasion, they might put on like their nice pair of jeans and a nice blouse or a nice sports coat. But it's, you can tell that's not how they dress on a regular. You can tell that's just not the mentality of, you know, looking nice, going out for dinner or something. Even those that have money, the wealth in Colorado Springs, don't really dress up for special occasions unless it is like a annual fundraiser event, charity event, things of that sort. So if you're really into that, I guess. And I used to be when I was younger. I used to have the big hair and lots of makeup and fake eyelashes and, you know, like dressing up to the nines, because that just fit my personality at that time and where I was living. Like I said, I lived in Vegas and Puerto Rico, and that's just what you did. You don't really have anywhere here to do that. You can, obviously, no one's gonna judge you, but you're definitely gonna be out of place when everyone else is just wearing like brown boots and jeans and a flannel. Boys and girls, everyone's gonna be wearing flannel. So if you like to dress up and go out, it's gonna be real hit or miss here in Colorado Springs. But another reason you might not even be wanting to dress up is because nothing here really stays open late. Not food, not restaurants. The bigger bars and nightclubs, yes, they have last call at 1:30. Everything closes here at 2, and that's just a state thing. That's a liquor code thing. We just don't have the demand here in Colorado to stay open past 2 a.m. So therefore, if a bar for the most part is not busy and dead, they'll kind of just wrap up shop and close when the last person kind of leaves, which could maybe be, you know, during a weeknight, 11, 12. On the weekend, they'll definitely stay open, but it's not every restaurant. It's not even a few restaurants. I would say for the most part, everything here in Colorado Springs closes by 10, maybe even 8, but I'm gonna say 10 p.m. The only thing that stays open past 10 p.m. is gonna be like Domino's. Domino's is open till 1 a.m. Taco Bell is open until like 1 a.m. And man, that's about kind of it. Like I said, a few of those nightclubs, obviously, they're gonna have last call at 1:30 or 2. But for the most part, there's not even like a coffee shop or a place to grab a late night snack. 7-Eleven is honestly your best bet. If you want a late night snack, go to 7-Eleven. We just don't have businesses that stay open late. So therefore, there's not really a reason to be out and about and getting dressed up. That also kind of flows into, if you are a foodie, I feel like Colorado as a whole is getting kind of more into the food scene, but we've never been really big on being like innovative with our food. Denver is definitely growing a lot more towards that aspect, and also its arts. But Colorado Springs, we're getting there. We're trying. We do have some local business owners that are trying to venture out and open up some restaurants and just some concepts that do stay open past 10 p.m. and do kind of, encourage people to go out and try something that's not chain food related. And if you've heard me talk about this in other videos, we just have so much, I think, military here that a lot of businesses just feel it's safe. Like the big franchises feel it's safe to put chain restaurants here because they know with so much military, everyone's gonna like a Chipotle for the most part, the McDonald's, the Burger King, the Arby's, the Sonic. It's nothing really super innovative. Now I love me some Olive Garden. I love Olive Garden, but that's what you can expect here. So if you really are a foodie and you're looking for really good food, you're gonna have maybe a handful of places here in the Springs to kind of go check out. But for the most part, you're gonna have to go to Denver. And finally, I'm going to talk about the cost of living. The cost of living, housing-wise, it's pricey. It is. We just had so much, like I said, growth come to Colorado right around COVID, and even just from the last 3 to 5 years, home prices have skyrocketed. And even though on average Colorado Springs is about $100,000 cheaper than Denver, it's still expensive. I mean, we always kind of right now are just teetering around like the average sale price of around $480,000, and that could be either a small single family home or a 3-bed 3-bath townhouse. So we are not as high as some other places in the state, obviously, but we definitely are a lot higher than the national average. And the last thing that I'm going to mention is that my people who have relocated here, they're always very surprised to find the lack of preschools and daycare here that we have in town. We are not as, like I said, as large as Denver, but we do have around, on average, I think right now, close to 800,000 people. Maybe between that 700, 800,000 people right now as a population. And there are very little daycares and preschools. So definitely expect, if you have little ones or you're going to need those services, to start getting on a wait list. Even if you are not ready to move here yet, but you're thinking about it and you want to, I would start calling around to the daycares and preschools and start getting on those waiting lists. Because even if you don't eventually move here, you can always just call them. They'll just take you off the list if you don't show up, obviously. But that is definitely something to start looking into, because what we do have is expensive. I've heard the daycare here is really expensive, per kid, per family, per week, all of that. So I would definitely look into just daycare options and preschools and waiting lists and pricing if you are considering moving to Colorado Springs, because we apparently don't have much. But there you go, you guys. There are just some things that, like I said, my clients who have relocated here have kind of figured out or realized after living here. They still seem to love Colorado, but it's just not quite as amazing as maybe they thought. Or, I've even had some people call, and I've had phone conversations and relayed all this information to them on the phone, and they decide Colorado is just not for them, especially Colorado Springs. So if you guys do have any more questions, feel free to leave them in the comments or reach out to me, call me, text me, email me. And if you do have any questions on the real estate process, also feel free to reach out to me. But if you guys could hit that subscribe button and bell, and I will talk to you next time.